virtual virtual general aviation aviators channel, and today I've got the STMA PC-12. Now, I have been flying the Coronado PC-12 for quite some time, and if you have watched any of my streams, you have realized that I have complained royally about that particular PC-12. My complaints stem basically that a lot of systems just were not modeled well. So I posted in the Coronado's forum, and someone suggested that I try the STMA version, and I thought I would. And just looking at it from the outside, I am enjoying what I see. Now, when I originally downloaded it, I didn't really like the 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 skin, but the aircraft does have an auto updater, and it did auto update. And after auto updating it, I like it a lot more, at least from the outside. Now, in all fairness, I have not at all been on the inside of this aircraft since it's been updated. I am going to go, my plan is to go through the full chat list, and I don't know how that's going to go. Don't know how long it's going to take me, but um, right now I'm at KRDU or Raleigh Durham, and the plan is to check it out. Um, just for the record, what I'm seeing here is this is that auto update is on. They do have a change log, and look like the last change was fixed. I mean, the last thing was fixed on February 23 this year. So a few days ago, from the date that I'm making this, streaming this video. Okay. All right. So let's get in. Let's get in the cockpit. And the cockpit looks okay. Um, it does. It's doable. It's not as, the textures are not as beautiful as Coronados, but at this point, I move past beauty and am more into function. So that's what I. That's why I am here. I want function. All right. So we do have a chat list, and let's see. So we're gonna go through it here. I do know how to fly the Coronado checklist. I do know how to start it, um, both from the checklist or from just doing a quick start. So let's do a pre-flight inspection, and let's see what hidden pluses do. They don't do anything. Okay, so that's been done. Parking brake is set, and what I like about the X checklist, if things are already done, then it just automatically advance. But in this case, I am still going to go through it and double check. Okay, parking brake is set, and this is my parking brake. Okay, and I tell you what, guys, I hate to spend this extra time, but I do want to see if I can enable X check, not X camera for this, and see if there are any views set up for it, and I don't see any. Um, what would be good if I set the exact same views up that I got set up for the Coronado, but I'm just going to use control in the num lock. Okay, so I got that set, hopefully. to give me a quick view there, and don't know if this is actually working. All right, flight control removed. Oxygen lever comes on first. Let's see. Um, yeah, there we go. And that's different because my oxygen lever does not come on until much later in the checklist for the Coronado. Oxygen mask check. Now, where are the oxygen masks? Not really sure where they are or if they're even. Um, my guess is they are somewhere stowed. Man, I'm hearing sounds. Don't know what those sounds were, but anyway, um, I'm just gonna check. And I think when the plus is there, that means that it's probably just something you check off. I mean, when the plus is not there. Okay. Now, okay, so the fuses are not modeled, um, which STMA, if you do see this video and want to circle back and model those, then I would love it. Okay, EPS, checked and armed. Okay, EPS. Now, I realize I don't know how to turn off the yoke on this aircraft. Let's see. Because I click it, doesn't go away. And luxury interior blinds. Oh man, I can do display yokes. Okay, so there you go. So, all right. So, um, EPS, emergency power system. I had to actually look that up, and that needs to be checked and armed. So first we're going to test it. Okay, battery test is working, and now we can arm it. I think we can arm it. Huh, maybe I held the test too long, or maybe it's running through a battery a test, but can't seem to flip it off the battery test. Well, all right, so I found either it's doing something or I found a bug, and I am clicking away. Think I may have found a bug. All right, so I'm just gonna check that off, and landing gear handle is down. Interior trim interior switch and flap interior switch should both be normal. And now I noticed that the flap interior switch is either, yeah, it has this black tab on it or something that's going on, maybe a shadow, I'm not sure, but both of them are down. So what I need to do is look at this, um, yeah, look at the sides and I can tell what position it is. So let's put the cover back on it so that we don't accidentally do anything with it. Okay. Um, MOR lever should be off. Okay, now MOR, I haven't a clue what an MOR. Hey, Marie Tano 77, how are you? That is because my webcam has an auto face follow. So if I move this way, it kind of follow. If I move that way, it kind of follow. If I move in, then it adjusts, and I move out, it adjusts. So, quite frankly, I hope it's not too annoying. I thought it was kind of kind of cool since the webcam does have that capability. So this is my first time in the PC-12 by STMA. I've got many hours in the Coronado PC-12, and it turns out that I like the PC-12 so much. Thank you. Turns out that I like the PC-12 so much that I thought I'd give the STMA version a go because I'm told that a lot more of the systems are modeled, whereas in the Coronado brand version of it, a lot of the systems are not modeled. They it has buttons that you can flip on and off, like in the Coronado brand version. I can flip these off and on, but they don't do anything. And the same with a plethora of other buttons. So that's why I got this one. And I got a MOR level, and this is my very first time going through this checklist. And I ran across the first system that I've never seen. They call it an MOR. Let's see if it's on the overhead panel. Um, and let's move that around just a touch. MOR, and don't see anything that could be master power. Nope. So that's something else I got to figure out at some point. Um, but fortunately, let's see, it's not checked off. So do you have any idea what MOR could stand for? I am not a real pilot. I am, or at least I was, a student pilot. I got a few hours in the Cessna 152 and the Cessna 172, but I didn't get quite enough hours to solo before I stopped flying many years ago. I've got just under 15 hours in the air with a CFI in the right seat. Um, I do believe if I had did 1 or 2 more hours, then my third or the fourth hour I would have been soloing because I was just about nailing my landings on a grassy strip. But life got in the way. Back then, I had a retail store, and it got too busy to. I got too busy to take the time out to drive up to the airfield and fly. Um, but I started simming again about 2 years ago, and I am seriously considering resuming my flight training to to earn that PP, to earn that PPL. Um, the the only thing that concerns me is the last time I had my blood sugar checked. Doc said I was pre-diabetic, and if that does not stay under control, then I would never get a pilot's license because a diabetic cannot fly. So right now, I don't have, I'm not diagnosed as being diabetic. I have basically cut out all sugar, PCL lever. Now, what could that be? Um, let's see. Let's bring that down. PCL lever. So I have basically cut out all sugar, and the only thing that I've yet to do is resume an exercise regimen. um, which if I stop simming as much as I sim, then I would have more time to exercise. But I did pump up my bike tires today, and as soon as I finish this video, I think I am gonna jump on my bicycle. Um, Even if I never do get a pilot's license, I do need to stay active. I used to hike. I used to walk the Appalachian Trail in the North Carolina mountains. The trails in my neck of the woods, and for some reason, in the past 3 years or so, um, well, since I started simming, a lot of stuff, a lot of my activities have fell by the wayside. So I gotta get some balance. But no, to answer your question, I am not yet a real pilot. What about you? Yeah, I don't have any problems being honest. And thanks. Um, I do believe in doing the right thing, even when nobody's watching. So that's a personal thing. So what about you? Are you a real pilot? Or if not, are you a sim pilot? And if you sim, how long have you been simming? Okay, so I'm looking for that PCL lever. And so I'm looking for a lever, PCL power control lever. That would be this PCL power control. Okay, so I think I found it and get that checklist back up. Come on, checklist, don't go away. Not finished with you. Hangar ops that comes up with this aircraft, I suspect. Um, then they got hangar ops and STMA auto update. Hmm, interesting. Okay. Um, let's see. Reload scenery. Oh, and set key codes. So this hangar ops added a lot more stuff to my drop downs. Okay. Oh man, if if when I was 16 and I got at how shall I say exposed to flight sim. In fact, I do tell people all the time that if I could go back and do it again, I think I would be a pilot. I would certainly be a pilot. Um, I mean, being a pilot is to me the best of all worlds. You got your office work and you got your hands-on work. You do some mental exercising, some physical. Well, I don't know how much physical exercising you get, but it isn't a job where you just sit behind a desk all day long. You have to get out there and good weather, bad weather, pre-flight your aircraft. Um, you um, get your stress levels, you get your adrenaline pumped up doing some of the flight operations. I mean, it's an exciting job, and then you get to relax for a while when you just in straight and level flight, between waypoints. So yeah, if I could do it again, I think a pilot is would definitely be in my future. Um, the thing about pilots is experience come with time, and at my age, that ship has sailed. So I could get my pilot's license to become a a pilot for recreational purposes, and maybe, well, yeah, it's doubtful I'd seek a commercial endorsement, but to be able to fly, to get it, be able to pick up a plane and fly to my brother's house versus having to drive, or my daughter, I'm in North Carolina. My daughter's talking about moving to Florida to be able to fly to her place. Um, it at this point for me, it would be a great thing. Okay, X chat, X chat. This is what I'm looking for, and I think I was trying to remember where I was at here. Maybe I was at the other. I think I was still here. Yep, PLC is where I stopped, and and I had went through all of this good stuff. I don't know what the more lever is. The PLC lever I found with the, see more. Could that be the condition lever? Um, that might be this condition lever. More manual. It's this lever, manual override. MO. I don't know what the R stands for, but I take it that the that more stands for manual override something. Oh man, I can't keep the checklist from going away. So so do you fly on X-plane at all? So you're Spanish, I'm Spanish, so I would not be, so I'm not so far away from my family. The longest distance from a family member would be like 100 kilometers, not thousands. Well, that's fine. The When I say to my family, when I was telling you about my brother, to drive would be about 6 hours. Actually, he's in North Georgia, and it takes me about 7 hours to drive. It's about 500 miles, which probably is about 700 kilometers. And if I flew, it would take me about half the time. Um, so it would still take me 3, maybe 4 hours um, to fly. But, well, if I flew the Cessna 172, which would probably be the plane that I'd be checked out in if I got my pilot's license, maybe a Warrior, but whatever I fly would be, you know, probably the slower flying aircraft. Okay, so I am going to open the checklist from here and maybe it will persist. All right, so let's see, open checklist. Nope, that's not the one. Open. There is one that I can open that's more persistent. That don't seem to be it either. Well, what that's telling me that I am just going to have to focus on it to get through it, because it would go away if it doesn't see me do anything. Okay, fuel emergency shut off full in. Fuel emergency. Okay, that's these guys down here. Okay, they're full in, and my doors are closed. Standby bus switch. Okay, that's on my overhead panel. Yeah, it takes the same time for you to drive coast to coast, about 6 hours. Uh, if now in Florida, you can go to the Gulf of Mexico, to the Atlantic Ocean, which is a peninsula, in about an hour, hour and a half, so you can get from what feels like coast to coast. And in the mainland United States, the coast, the overhead switches are off. In the mainland United States, clearance obtained. I'm not going to obtain clearance on GPS. I'm not going to do that. Battery switch. Battery one comes on. Um, then the two coasts are about 2,500 miles apart. So now that's thousands of miles to fly coast to coast. And if you're going to do that flight, you definitely want to do it. Okay, 24.5. You definitely want to do it in a business jet, something that's super fast. You don't want to do it in a Cessna. Now, this aircraft here has a cruise speed. This is a single prop. As you can see, this is a single prop aircraft, um, and it's actually the second fastest commercial, well, civilian aircraft you can get. Okay, beacons need to come on. Beacon is on, and nav lights are on. Fuel pumps um, should be checked, audio visually checked. Okay, they're on auto. So I did check and lamp test, make sure everything lights up, no bulbs out, and do that one more time. Okay. Um, and fire warning, fire warning. I should hear. Yeah, yeah, that is a lot. Um, miles from coast to coast. I should hear the fire warning, but I don't. I have to file some bug reports. I either browse the forums to see what I'm missing. Okay, before engine start, 303. So I need to. This is to check my electronic instrument system. So I'll hit the test button. Everything seems to be working. There's a bug here, so I've already found a couple bugs in this aircraft. Fuel controls test. Fuel controls check. So I'm just going to hit the reset button. Okay, and fuel is let's see. I think fuel's on the overhead panel. Now electrical, ice and cooling, fuel pumps, and nothing happened. So go there. Um, there is the virus in the next. Someone was diagnosed in the next county over from where I live, but so far it's not been too much of a concern for me. I do believe. Ah, shucks, it went away. I do believe that people who it seems well, the people who are dying from it seem to be primarily elderly people, um, which is if you're elderly, then you definitely don't want to contract it. Um, I do know that some relatively healthy people have died too. Oh man, sorry to hear that. I am. Sorry to hear that. Prop clear. All right, so let's get this bad boy started. And to start it, I want to hold this for 2 seconds. One, two. Okay, that comes on. Once NG get up past 13%, then I want to take this guy and introduce fuel. 12% it says, but I always look for 13, so I go ahead and introduce fuel now. Go to ground idle. My ITT, I don't want it to hang, and I don't know why it's blinking, but it's coming down. All right, good. So I got a good start. Looks like my torque and RPMs should come up. Torque should stop at about 3.5, peak at 3.5 and go down. Okay, so I'm good. I got a good start. Oil pressure, let me check that. Oil pressure is in the green and oil temperature should be coming up. All right, so I can go ahead and check that off. I did monitor that. Engine instruments, check. RPMs, fuel, yeah. Okay, so let's go ahead and turn on some electrical stuff. Okay, Marie Tano, Marie Tano 77. I am so glad you stopped by. And anytime you see me on, stop by. I would love to talk to you again. And good luck on becoming a pilot. I think it's probably one of the best jobs that you can have. Certainly a job that'll get you the girls. All right. Okay, um, we'll talk later. Okay, so I am instruments checked, and then generators one and two need to come on. Generator one, generator two. Generally, the avionics come on at this point. Okay, inverter, um, inverter bat or generator. So I want the inverter on generator, and avionics one and two can come on. I see my avionics just came alive. That's good. And passenger advisory. This is where I pick up the mic and talk to the passengers if I had any on, any back there, and standby bus need to go off. Um, yep. Okay, that's off. Air conditioner as required. And cooling system. See, this is winter time. Outdoor air temperature is 10 degrees Celsius and it's about 30 degrees here. So a little cabin heat might be in order. See if I can't change this. If this cabin temperature would change to, okay, it shows in Celsius, and the Coronado aircraft shows it in Fahrenheit. Well, you can switch from Celsius to Fahrenheit. I don't think you can do it here. So 20 degrees Celsius, 2.2 should be about 50 something degrees Fahrenheit. And so I am just going to turn on just a tad of heat. Okay, so cabin heating on and let that come up. Turn that turn that just a little. And environment controls are off. Don't need air conditioner, but I do need to turn this on to auto. And shucks, it's not. It's another bug because I'm not. Oh, there you go. I flipped it. Okay, pressurization set cruise altitude plus 500 feet. I'm at 400 feet. Set cruise altitude. Okay. Um, because with the Coronado, you're welcome. With the Coronado, I with the Coronado cruise, then I set field altitude plus 500 feet. All right, so where am I going to cruise at? Let's see. This is where I set it, and increase, and I don't like I don't like the way that it sets because I can't tell what I'm doing. I don't see any gauges moving, so I'm not so sure that I like the way that's modeled. That should have a glass over top of it, but it doesn't. So the glass is missing on the dump. Um, okay, but so I really am having to guess on the cruise. Okay, pressurization. Um, for right now, we're just gonna go around the pattern. So, so let me take this to the bottom and set it just a few feet. Um, and flaps 15 degrees. Okay, so I should have a flap indicator. Let's see, let's get, so this is my flap indicator here, and that is 15 degrees. Ah man, I went away again. I wish it would persist a little bit longer before it goes away. Let's see, checklister. And um, where am I? I'm at engine start, I think. Nope, previous. Okay, so I've done, so yeah, I've done all of these because I was at flaps, which is the last item on this list. So actually I can go to the next one. Okay, flaps 15, check. ARs, ARs, and that should be slaved, and they are. I want both of them slaved. Okay, so I'm good there. I had to look up what ARs mean. Autopilot. Um, let's test the autopilot, and it looks good. And pusher. Now I tried to check the pusher earlier, and it wouldn't check. Let's turn the yoke on. I have to do that here. All right, and let's hit this guy here for no. I want to. I'm hoping to be able to see the yoke and hit the pusher button. There's a way around that, which would be this guy here. Okay, and I don't see. Hit the wrong button. I don't hear or feel anything. Um, and PCL set to 5 to 10. Okay, now all of this is part of the pusher. I think no. Well, let's see. PCL set 5 to 10 psi. I'm not sure what the PCL is. So we can get rid of this guy here. Um, and I'm just moving on past stuff that I'm not sure about with the hopes that I can ask in the forums what stuff that I don't know is and how how to work on it. Pilot, at least the lights are modeled. Yes, yes, I love that. Okay, PCL, what could that stand for? If okay, I am going to check that off. If anybody knows what PCL is, then then leave it in the comments. I would love to know any of you PC-12 pilots or sim pilots who fly the PC-12 as a study level aircraft. Let me know. That's what I'm hoping to do is fly it um, to a study level degree eventually. But it definitely want this PCL set. Um, let's see. Let's try this. Maybe maybe this could this be what it mean by PCL? Uh, so we'll go. We just set that and arm it and set 2,100 feet per minute. Don't want to climb out that fast. That so hope my hope my checklist don't go away. Um, well, 1,100 is fine. Okay, PCL pusher test is press and hold. Nothing's happening. Let's turn it back on here. Because with the Coronado one, with that pusher test, I can just press it and I can hear and see the the yolks rattling, but that's not working here. And I don't know how to get rid of. Okay, well, let's see. So I'm in autopilot. 4 is pusher. Okay, so don't see. Probably need to bind this to a key. Um, and PCL. Um, that that term looks familiar, but anyway, if I can get past it, set the 5 to 10 psi. So what on this aircraft can I change to a psi setting? And I don't know. I honestly don't know. Um, I honestly don't know. So and for the pusher, I got APCL set to 5 to 10%. So PC, so I can't get past this until I can set it to the 5 to 10%. So let me just click some stuff. Um, uh, Let's see. And then I would need to push and hold my elevator control, um, which is push, push and hold. You see, I read push and hold, and then you see me where it says press and hold. Um, Elevator control, pull and hold. After, okay, so done that. And cows, push a ice, um, caution. Don't know what that is. Um, Cows. So I there's definitely some stuff in here that I need to learn. And terrain. Uh, all right. Terrain inhibit. Terrain P test. Hadn't even got to that, but I failed the pusher check, the pusher test. Okay, cows pusher caution check off. Don't know how to do that. And with this, I saw. Well, I do know that there's that doing the pusher test is a process because I saw someone do that on a real video on a in real life, and I said, "Oh man, it's a lot more to that pusher test than what I've been doing in that Coronado." And look like the pusher test operation is modeled in this aircraft, but I haven't a clue how to do it. So I am just gonna bypass that section. Um, I will do some research and try to figure that out. So the next time I go through the full checklist, then I would know. Cows, I don't even know what cows are. Um, and again, I reach out if any of you guys know what cows are. Please post it in the chat or comments. Inertia separator needs to become open. Now that I know. Okay, so I'm gonna open that guy, and and when I opened it, well, I have to wait for it to open. I think um, de-ice. Oh, come on, check off. It may not be allowing me to get through the checklist because some of the prerequisites may not be filled, like the pusher stuff. Because I didn't go through this, but I'm not sure whether there's a prerequisite, and I know I can't check off anything behind until this stuff is done. Um, when I hit the inertia separator, I should see the amperage change, and I'm not. So maybe that's a bug. No, no, not well. The amperage and the NG should change. Let me turn the overhead on at the bottom. See if open it affects the NG. Okay, and I don't know why it's blinking, but I don't see the NG change either. Um, so I am gonna keep going. De-ice. Flight controls are free and clear. Trim is set to +3. And trim here. I don't quite know how to set the trim to +3. Um, but I do know that in the Coronado, I think this is +3 here. Um, okay, engine instruments are checked. That looks correct. Field elevation at my location is 400 feet. So let me go ahead and change the field elevation to 400 feet. And, or better yet, let's just go ahead and get the ADAS. Let's turn off, let's see, let's turn off the overhead. ADAS is, for this airport, is 123.8. I don't like that I can't, okay, okay, have to, I'm looking for the big, trying to turn there. That click spot is real fine. 0.8 to 123. Need to go the other way. Maybe I come on this side and flip that in. Okay, now I can hear ADAS. I need to get back in the cockpit and turn on COM2.
Raleigh Durham INTL Information Zulu.
Zulu.
1900 Zulu weather. Wind shear alert.
Wind shear.
Wind 330 at 8 variable 270 to 020 gust 15.
Gust 15.
More than 10. Sky conditions 5500 view. Temperature 10. Dew point -4. Altimeter 3039. Arriving runways 05 left. 05 right. 32. Departing runways
Okay.
05 left. 05 right. 32.
I need to hear the winds one more time.
Contact you have Zulu.
Hey, downwind Sim. All right. I am not familiar with
Raleigh Durham
this one.
INTL Information Zulu. 1900 Zulu weather. Wind shear alert. Wind 330 at 8 variable 270 to 020 gust 15.
Okay, 3308 gust in the 15. Yeah, I am not familiar. I I just bought this plane today. And I'm so crazy about the Pilatus PC-12 by Coronado that I decided to pick up the one by STMA because I understand that a lot more of the systems are modeled. And I love the skinning for the Coronado, but I'm a little bit disappointed that some of the systems don't work fully. So anyway, this one do have a higher degree of modeling, but I found a couple of bugs, like like on this emergency power system. I did the battery test, and I can't flip it up. Oh, yeah, I can. I was just doing it wrong. Okay, so I need to arm it. Duh, I was just doing it wrong because I need to raise it this way. There, let's see. Well, I can leave it off. Don't have to be armed. Yeah, yeah. That's true. That is so true. And I have been simming for a couple years, and with X-Plane, I simmed back in the early 2000s with Microsoft Flight Sim X, and I stopped. But anyway, um, up until I made my New Year's resolution after a year and a half of simming was basically to stop just jumping in the aircraft and getting it started and jumping in the air to actually start going through the checklist. And you're right, the more I do this, then the more fun going through the checklist is. Okay, so I think I was still at before engine. No, no, I've passed before engine start because my engines are running. Yeah. Um, the checklist it doesn't seem to be persistent. Keep going away on me, and I don't need to start from that point. Um, and I'm not able to make it persist. Well, let's open setup. Maybe there's a way to make it persist. Uh, Turn off the translucent window. Actually, I do want that on. Show checklist if it exists. Turn on cockpit. Um, Show GUI. I think that's what I want. Okay. So now, uh, let's see, just hit next and just get to where I'm supposed to be. Um, Actually, show GUI not may not have been what I was looking for. Okay, but I think I was about right up in here. And cows set trim. I've done that. Fuel quantity. Um, yeah, I would say engine instruments. Okay, fuel quantity, half tank. I'm good to go there. I cannot check anything off because I can't get past this initial separator because it says it needs to be open, and it is open, but it's not checking off. So that may be a bug. I don't know. Or maybe it's me. Okay, de-ice is not a factor. I am going to turn the probes on though. That, that keep my static port and my P-top heated. All right, let's see. Flight controls free. I've done that. Fuel quantity and com nav set. Let's see. I'm not going to talk to approach and the tower. See, I think ground is point 0.9. And yeah, I see you downwind sim a lot on Melvin Leroy stream. And see, 124.3. I think he's so cool, Melvin Leroy. Um, he's so laid back, and he's just a cool guy. Okay, so got that done. Flight controls. Let's see. Now this is EG traffic check. EGPWS/traffic. That must be on this guy here somewhere. Let's see. I see my transponder still hadn't asked me to turn that on. My passenger door is open. Should think I can close that there. Okay. That should that should go off. I didn't do the pusher. Um, I'm not sure about the de-ice. Um, P-talk is a French word. Yeah, I was. Yep, it's me, Henry. Okay, French hydraulic engineer and inventor of the P-talk tube, which measures flow velocity. Pito, Pito. Thank you. Um, I don't know why I want to call it P-talk. um, I think that might be because when I look at Pito, I don't know why I want to put a K on it. Um, Sometimes I see spelling in my mind's eye, and for some reason, I'm seeing in my mind's eye Pitok. But you're right, it's Pitot, isn't it? But it's pronounced toe, Pito, um, f- French. And that's my lesson today, Henry Pito. Pito. And I think it's just amazing that these mathematicians have been able to figure out how to calculate altitudes based on pressure differentials. I mean, that just never ceases to amaze me because uh, math is not one of my strong points. Okay, um, I'm not sure what this guy is, but all they want me to do is check it. I think it has to do with the traffic. Since I see the word traffic in it, for yeah, I just not real sure. And okay, this is set to G. Okay, let's go ahead and just set it to GPS now. Um, since I'm not gonna do any crazy, well, not crazy, but in the VOR navigation, cabin pressure checked. Okay, that's fine. I'm just gonna do some. I'm not sure where I'm gonna fly to, and yokes remove. Okay, now why would I want to remove the yokes? FD flight director altitude set. I think I've already done that. Let's see, I'm climbing out at 1100 feet per minute, and 16 is too low, so let's just go up to 35. There are no mountains in my neck of the woods. Okay. Okay. Taxi lights come on. Brakes are checked. And brakes are checked. And flight instruments. Yeah. Yeah. I do check. I do hang out with Melvin occasionally. Um, useless. uh, no knowledge is useless. You can put it, you can get it, file it away back there somewhere, and at some point you can use it, just like you just use the knowledge to share with me about Henry. So that's my lesson for today. In fact, if every day I learn one thing, that by the time I leave this earth, then I ought to be a wise old man. At least that's the hope. With the keyword being old. There you go. My Henry too. Okay, so am I ready to taxi? And let's see, check lister. Okay, so I've done engine start and pre-taxi. That's where I'm at now. A horse is slaved. Autopilot is checked. I think I've done. Oh yeah, I did do this, but it's having me recheck. Autopilot is checked. Test and flight director. Okay, and then turn that off. And now this is where I'm stuck. I don't know what PCL is on this aircraft. I don't know how to on I don't know where it's at. PCL. What does that sound like it might be to you? PCL. Um, I think it had to do with the pusher check. And I didn't do the pusher test because it said press and hold. But there are some other things. There are some prerequisites I do believe to to this pusher test that has to do with that PCL being set to between 5 and 10 psi. And I don't know what the PCL is. So, hmm. Okay, well, I will post that. I got a lot of stuff to post in the STMA PC-12 forum. Um, okay, elevator control, push and hold, elevator control. Let's see, have I been through this? I thought I've been through this. Okay, let's take a look. And I'm waiting on my browser to load that page. Okay, I've been exploring the aircraft. Okay, stick pusher set power lever control. Okay, that's what that is. Power lever control between 5 and 10 psi, and psi is going to be ng is measured in. Let's see, I think I think they're talking torque. Mm, let's see. All right, so let's try it now, and let's open it up here so we can see what's going on. Back up, slide that out the way, press and hold. It went down. Okay, try it again. Press and hold. Uh, didn't mean to turn it off. How do you? I had to figure out how I can turn that off without having to. Well, my pressure test did check off, so apparently it passed the pusher test, so I can turn the torque down, go back to, uh, that's what happens when you hold the brake on this aircraft and go into to reverse thrust throttle. But yeah, I did get past the pusher test. That's great. So thank you for that. Thank you for that. And yep, I think we got it figured out. You the man. All right, elevator control, push and hold, elevator control. It said push and pull and hold. I was absent the day they taught us how to pull up and push. Okay, so that looks good. Um, cows push a ice mode caution check on, and okay, so that's on. And starter and audio warning. Um, I didn't hear any audio warnings. Let me turn this guy off. Um, I like the TBM the way it talks to you. I didn't hear any audio warnings. Maybe I should turn my volume. Let's see. Let me check my volume levels. I did a Pilot Edge stream yesterday, and I turned some stuff down. So let's turn Copilot up just in case. All right, and check correct operation. Okay, so yeah, I'm just gonna go to the next one. Cows pusher caution check off, and well, that's not gonna work because my torque is too low. And pusher test switch. Yeah, so this cows pusher caution. Let me go back to that page that you had up. I think it must have been a misprint. Glad to be of service. Stick pusher test. Set flaps to 15. Set PCL to 5 to 10. Push, pull back the yoke and pusher test for 2 to 3 seconds. You should hear a beep and the push message will be going. All right, so my flaps are set to 15. I'm gonna do that one more time. And okay, so I'm between 5 and 10 on the torque. Don't hear audible. And the pusher light still on. Oh yeah, I still forgot something. Okay, so I got that. I need to turn this guy on. All right, so now and hold that and pull on the yoke. So I'm not sure why my pusher caution is still on, but um, pusher INTR switch. Heard that. Don't hear don't hear the fire thing. Yeah. Um you say you can Google with the best of them downwind sim. I um I tend to be I'm starting to get a little active in the explain.org forums. I do enjoy just kind of posting in there and trying to help other folks out. Um, I'm gonna check this off, and I'm not expecting myself to get completely checked out in this aircraft the first time. Cows pusher ice mode caution. Let me try turning de-ice on. Probes. Uh, I meant turn the probe icing on and I turn the prop icing on. Okay, so that fixed that. And I still got the pusher cow's indicator on. So, and I'm still at, oh, don't do that. Now I got a detent on this Satec yoke. And when I go back to that detent, I thought it would be at idle. Okay, I can go back to that detent if I go really slow. Okay, no, I cannot go to that detent. Yeah, so I am. Uh, yeah, can't go back to that detent. Okay, so I'm not gonna worry about it. All right, and I'm just gonna go past this stuff. Pusher release. Yeah, so I was able to do that. Okay, pre-taxi 303. Cows check. I think cows is. I think I remember it being the um, well, it's the equivalent of the cast. Inertia separator is open, and I wonder why I can't check off behind that guy. Let me try shutting it, and when I open it, it should check off automatically, and so I can't check off anything behind it. Um, Yokes remove F flight. I remember being there. Taxi lights on, brakes check, flight instruments check, takeoff brief complete, and DV window. That must be this window here. Must be that window there. Okay, it's closed. And let's see by opening and closing. I think this X check lister will check stuff off automatically. Oh man, it sometimes it goes away. I'm not sure why. And X checklist pre-taxi. I think I was at this one. Yeah, the window. Okay. Taxi light and recognition lights. Recognition lights come on. Taxi and landing lights are on, but that's at line up. Okay, so let me just go and get lined up here. So now, is there a quick way to close this down? Um, I don't see it. More will be revealed if I fly this enough, and if there is, we'll probably learn it. Okay, Raleigh ground Pilatus. 807 Sierra Alpha is taxiing to runway 5 right and taxi to runway 5 right via Alpha Pilatus 807 Sierra Alpha. Okay, I needed a call sign, so I'm just using the default here in case I can release these brakes and give it some torque. And I think I got the chucks off. Nope, still got chucks on. I'm working on modifying a list for the MD-80. Cool. You know, the Mad Dog, the airliners are something that I have not flown yet. I probably will at some point. When I started simming a year or two ago, actually a year or two or three, a, um, my plan was to just sim in general aviation aircraft, particularly the low and slow single prop stuff, because the idea was that one day I might be able to fly those in real life if I ever get the 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 money to resume my flying lessons, and I don't want to resume them until I know I can complete them. Anyway, that was, like I said, a couple years ago, and that was the plan, was to stick with the low and slow stuff. But at the rate life is taking me, I don't know if I am going to be able to resume that license, which is why I've picked up some more GA aircraft that are faster, that I will probably never ever fly in real life. Hence the Pilatus, the PC-12 here. So, with that said, there's no reason now that I can't learn the procedures to fly the airliners, since it's just a hobby now and not so much um, working on, specifically working on training. So yeah, I might venture into some airliners eventually. And one of the things that have kept me from doing it is because flying them is so procedural, and of course you have to learn the procedures just to get the aircraft started. And it was only this year that I started actually going through procedures, and this is only March. So so that tells you where I'm at. Yeah, blame it on Melvin. Okay. Um, you know, I have clicked on your name, I think a couple of times to see if you had a sim channel, and I don't think I found anything. Um, let's see, I just clicked on you now. See if I can't give you a follow. Um, jumping to Juniper is offline. So for what it's worth, I just hit the follow on you, and so maybe when if and when you do stream, I can follow you. Okay, so let's get back in the aircraft. Now see this um, checklist didn't go away that time. Melvin Leroy, what's going on, my friend? Good. I guess we just talked you up. Downwind Sim and I were just talking about you. I'm glad you weren't around to hear what we were saying. Okay. Line up. All right. So I got to get rid of the chucks on this guy. Uh, I don't know how I missed that. Ground operations, ground lot, park and brake. So I'm trying to I'm learning this. I've been flying the PC-12 by Carenado, and I've been so chucks. So I've just been so unhappy with how little of it is modeled that I decided somebody suggested that I get the STMA version of the PC-12. Now don't let that go to your head, Melvin Leroy. What Downwind Sim just said. um, but anyway, so let's see, the brakes are set. So I got a different version, and it has a lot more stuff modeled. Unfortunately, I think it has a couple more bugs in it, but so far I am enjoying it, even though it is a little less modeled. Let's see, now I'm going to five right. Okay, but I tell you what, ADAS gave me five right, but looking at the windsock, five right would give me a tailwind. Let me see if ADAS has changed.
Raleigh Durham INTL Information Alpha. 2100 Zulu weather. Wind shear alert. Wind 360 at 9 variable 320 to 040 gust 16. Visibility more than 10. Sky conditions 6000 few.
Three six
Temperature
zero.
11. Dew point -5. Altimeter 3037. Arriving runways 05 left, 05 right, 32. Departing runways 05 left,
Hmm.
05 right, 32. Advise on initial contact you have Alpha.
Yeah, that's odd because I am lined up towards five now, and if I look at the windsock, then it's let's see, I'm taking off. Oh yeah, yeah. I don't know what I'm thinking. I'm looking backwards, backwards. Okay. Yeah, yeah. Just one of those days, right? Okay. So let me take Alpha to five, and I'm on the right side of the airport, so that's the reason why I chose five right. And I don't know where I'm going. I have no destination in mind. I might do a pattern, if I was smart, I would have did this um, just in case this one flies significantly differently from the Coronado aircraft. If I was smart, I would have did this offline, but I'm not that smart. All right, so this aircraft do have beta. Just I know, right? That's exactly what I'm doing. Just rolling with it. I'm at RDU, Raleigh Durham. That's the neck of the woods that I live in, so I consider this my home airport. And we'll stop here. So this is what RDU looks like. Um, we've got two separate terminals. We got Terminal 1, we got the Terminal 1 here, and then we got the parking deck, and then Terminal 2 here. Terminal 2 is a 10,000-foot runway. They are seeking funding to move the runway out a little bit so that they can. I think right now they can't land jets in parallel because the runways are too close. So they want to move it and widen it. And I think I think they've already got approval and funding. And I think construction is supposed to start in 23, I believe, for that, so that they can do rather than doing staggered landings, do parallel landings. And the idea was to also make it large enough so that they could land the 380 there. Unfortunately, the 380 is going out of service. Well, out of production. It may stay in service, but who knows? Something else may take its place. The Airbus. I tend to upload these videos to YouTube, and sometimes when I'm talking, and some of my other people may not know what the 380 is, so to remember to talk a little bit more so they would get to understand what I'm talking about. So I'm not going to do a run up. Don't know how to do the run up. I don't know. Um, okay, let's see. I do know that landing light and recognition light should come on. That didn't automatically check off. Wonder if that's a bug. And strobe lights, go ahead and turn the strobes on. So I shouldn't have to check. Well, maybe it wants me to turn off my taxi light. No. So with this, now this is, I'm going to have to, I'm not making notes, but as I go through this stuff, I am going to have to post in the forums to see why this is not checking off and not allowing me to check off. And it could just be a glitch in the could just be a glitch in the in the file. I know sometimes with these computers, stuff will work and then they'll stop working and you load the aircraft again and it works. All right, so strobes are on. Windshield heat comes on, and don't know where windshield heat is at. You would think it would be in the de-icing panel. Boots. Okay, windshield left windshield, right windshield. Maybe this is heat. See, that's the Yeah, yeah, that's true. I think I seemed it to have ascertained or deduced that if it has a plus beside it, then it tend to check off automatically. And if it does not have the plus beside it, I have to check it off. Now that assumption could be entirely wrong, but that's what I've seen to deduce on this aircraft. I mean, on this checklist. Um, okay, but either way, I'm clicking it and I can't check it off manually. So that's why I think it's a bug. Um, and I think the STMA is basically been done by one guy, and you know how much work this could be. STMA, this is the STMA version. He did a great job scanning. Um, at first, with some of the earlier versions, come on, what happened here? But some of the earlier versions, I didn't like the skins that I was seeing. The PBR didn't look that great. But the aircraft does have an auto updater. It does have a change log, and the last time he actually fixed something was in February of this year. Um, the front nose wheel would just kind of turn around even as you were taxiing, and I think he fixed that. Um, so, but these things are so much work. They are so much work that if, my hats go off to anybody who take on such a um, a monumental project. All right. So I can't check that off strobe, so I just have to go on. I turn the windshield heats on, probes are on. Prop is the one that's not off. Cowls, I still have the pusher. I wasn't able to get that to go off. Pressurization is I couldn't couldn't see the modeling on the pressurization. Um, and let me just go here and zoom in. Um, okay, so I'm able to turn this, but I can't see this move, so I can't see where the pressurization, what's happening with the pressurization. So that's just not, I think that's just another part that's not fully modeled. Now on the Coronado, the pressurization is partially modeled. Um, okay, and oxygen is on. Flaps is at 15%. Condition level goes to flight idle. Transponder comes on and goes to alt. And I need to get in my seat. Um, Transponder. You should have. They should have had me turn it on and put it on standby before I got this far. Let's see. So how do you turn it on? Uh, I know I can go into the X-Plane menu and turn on the click spots. Okay, I see the off on button now. And okay, so it's in the off position. There we go. Okay, just click it and it. So I'm gonna turn it to Alt. All right, and I'm squawk 1200, and I'm good. Okay, so get back in the pilot seat. and I need to set up my X camera views. I'm lazy. I admit it. I usually just download somebody else's views and go with it. STMA, yeah, that's who makes this version. Um, okay, so let's get out there on the runway. Get lined up. 5 right. All right, and we are lined up. And of course, ATC didn't tell me I could get out there, but I made a donation and they told me I can do whatever I want at this airport because I'm so generous. And I've got some prime real estate down at the tip of Florida that I want to sell. Okay, gear position, gear, positive rate, gear up. Okay, after takeoff. Okay, all right. So I'm gonna bring my torque up to about 40, over 40%, but don't want it in the green. On the rotate at 80 knots. Airspeed's alive. Rotate. Come on, guy, get up.
FSE flight not started.
That's right. Winds are gusting to 15 to 20 knots, I think. So, all right. Tap positive rate. Tap the brake. Gear up. And I'm 300 feet greater AGL, so flaps can come up. And I'm still putting a lot of pressure on this back yoke, on this yoke. A lot of, so let's trim up. All right, now I can release some pressure and maintain, maintain runway heading. Okay, nose over and power back here. And I'm gonna make a right crosswind. All right, make a right crosswind. Still got my lights on. And let's get those lights off. Oh, they are off. They went off by themselves, apparently. How about that? Because I didn't turn them off. Let's see. Let's make sure they are off. Um, Look like I'm decided to go ahead and turn downwind. I don't even know what I'm doing now. Okay, so they are some light. Ooh, I can't fly that way. Some lights are still on. So let's look and see. Look at that. I can't click that. Uh, that stopped working. So I may need to do some. I may get better luck when I reload the aircraft. All right. So clown power setting. Cannot read that. 36.9, 150 knots. Okay, so I'm just gonna go around the pattern and land. So it looks like I'm on downwind, which should be about 2-3, 230 degrees, and I can't seem to find 230 on the HSI. 241. think it's the wind. It's got me crabbing. Okay. And I tend to want to pull back too hard on the yoke. All right. So let's straighten up in the seat. Maybe we can do a little better. And come a little closer. Okay. And all right. I learn from experience. So man, I keep getting pushed over to 2-4. I learn from experience that I do need a good and extended downwind on this aircraft. I just tend to do better. Um, and why is my torque at 16%? Well, that was climb. Okay, so I'm not in climb. Um, and recognition lights can stay on. All right, I'm gonna turn back towards the airport now. And okay, just a touch of rudder. Make that turn. I want to turn to base and look for my airport. Okay, airport's in sight. Auto marker. I'm cruising at 155 or so. I do feel those winds. Pulling back on the power. I'm way too high. So let me drop down and I should turn to final now. I'm not making any radio calls. Way overshot my. Oh no, I didn't. I thought I had found the the left runway. Yeah, I did find the left. I am 5 left now. Yep. So I did way overshot the runway. See, Melvin Leroy went live. Okay, so power back. See if we can get this glide slope. And there's our glide slope. All right, gear down. And get down in my seat a little bit. I mean, come up in my seat. All right, I'm getting low. I think I want to come in at about one, at about, oh, I think I want to come in the white arc on the airspeed indicator. Getting a little low. Gears down, 3 in the green. And I can hear sync rate, sync rate, sync rate. All right, touchdown zone. Oh man, thank God. Runway incursion. All right, let's try that again. Flaps up, power, power to 40% on the torque, 40 psi. That speed's alive, rotate, and whoa, let me fly the aircraft rather than giving you guys views. Okay, pull back on that yoke, a little bit more power, and gear up. Okay, that buzzer is the auto marker. And wow, look at my flaps. How'd they get so far down? So that's my shaker. I'm not sure it's my shaker, but that was the alarm saying, "Hey guys, got too much flaps." Okay, so there we go. Now we're picking up a good airspeed, and I am gonna go to the right again and try to get 5 right. I did a touch and go on 5 left, and take take some energy to get checked out in a new aircraft, even though I've have been flying a version of this aircraft. Okay, let's straighten up. That should be crosswind. Uh, oh man, I am not doing well at all because I just blew all through the altitude. And it's amazing how you get tunnel vision, get locked on the thought, and you go, that's my story, and I'm gonna stick to it. Okay, all right. So I need to find my airport, and I don't know why, but whenever I make a turn, I just got this habit where I just got to pull back on that stick, and I pull back too much sometimes. Okay, there's my airport, and I want to do a nice gentle descent to about 2,000, and check my heading. And I should have set my heading bug on my runway. That would whatever it did was help me be able to look and see what my heading is at a glance. Okay, so 5 is what I want. And because the wind is blowing and I keep trying to fly straight and narrow rather than hold that heading, I keep getting blown straight and narrow, straight and level. Okay, so I should be able to do a good 4 or 5 mile final now. And okay, landing lights come on. That's right. They're broken right now. Um, okay, so let's go ahead and turn base. And there I go again, yanking back on that yoke. It's almost and all right, let's see where am I. Okay, I should be able to see the airport now. I see it. Okay. And it's hard to pick a point out over my nose where I can turn, where I know where I can turn to final. So I have to keep kind of looking, either try to, a lot of times I try to judge my speed. And you know what? I was, I think I was looking at 5 left, left, and I should have been looking at 5 right. So that time I was actually looking at the wrong runway. But I actually got it. Let me turn this off. Okay. And the winds are just atrocious. Okay, so I'm at 1200. Um, Power back so I can drop some gear. This is why I have to do these long sync rate. This is why I have to do these long finals. Okay, trim. Right now, I don't have any flaps. At 15 degrees of flaps. And that landing was acceptable. All right, one more, guys, and I am gonna end the stream. Okay, so power up to 40. Hold that center line. Rotate. And according to the those guys are so nice. According to the the manufacturer of this aircraft, um, he claims that pilots claim that it flies pretty close to the real thing. Okay, gear up. I'm a little late on the gear. And didn't tap the brakes that time. Yeah, I'm getting it. I'm getting it slowly but surely. Um, Flaps are up, gear is up, and get this crosswind turned. All right, that's crosswind here. Don't want to go out too far. And the what's making it tough is these gusts. It's pretty gusty out here. And if I had chosen another day or turn on weather that's favorable, I could probably do it a little easier, a little better. All right, so fly heading a 230. All right, got that dialed in and trim because I'm above altitude. Okay, there's my airport. And thank you. Let's see. So, but this is a lot of fun. Oh man, I'll be over speeding in just a sec. Uh, at least I'll be out of the green arc. I'm not sure which. I think the strike button is the overspeed. Um, okay, 1800, 3, and stay craft a little bit for those winds. Trim. Yaw damper is on. Lights are broken. 200 knots. Good cruising speed, even for the pattern for this aircraft. All right. I should be a good 4 or 5 miles out. I'm not really paying the GPS's any attention. Um, so focused on just trying to hold altitude, and unfortunately, now there I go again, pulling way back on that yoke on that turn. It's just a habit. I know I have to put some back pressure in, but and now let's see. Let's see. Where's my airport? Shoot, can't see it. Okay, there it is, and guess I can make my turn to final. Otherwise, cross into runway 5 left, and I want 5 right. And don't pull it back too far on that. The one thing I keep trying to do is keep my eyes out of the aircraft and glance at my instruments rather than focusing on the instruments. And I do know that since I can't just spin my head around and look and don't have the seat of the pants feeling, that sometimes just don't work. Like right now, I need to see how high I am because I can't look out the window and tell. And I'm not even lined up for the runway. I thought I was, and I'm flying way faster than I need to. Okay, I think I can drop my gear at 178. Gear down, power up, flaps, too much flaps, flaps. And this one is gonna be the last one. And Diving in like a kamikaze. Oh, rest in peace. Did I? Was my nose down? Oh man, uh, gear is. You know what? My gear didn't come down. My gear broke. That was my fault. I should have looked to see to. I should have looked to see if I had three in the green before I touched down. I did drop my gear, but it stopped coming down. It didn't come down, and that's yeah. So I think that's another bug. But all said, I think I will enjoy flying this aircraft. It's a it's a lot more challenging than the Coronado one. I think it's a lot. I do like the fact that a lot more has been modeled, and I am going to try to use the forums to get the author or the developer to continue working on it. Um, the problem with that is a lot of times they build an aircraft and it's like twisting, you have to twist their arms to get them to circle back to fix stuff, and that may or may not happen. But in any case, I am going to call it here. Um, yeah, here come the fire trucks and the ambulance and all that good stuff because I certainly need it. Well, I tell you what, let's go back before I go and look at what that might look like. So I sat here for a while talking.
FST flight not started.
And then it went back too far, maybe. Man, look at those bank angles. Danger, Will Robinson. Say, where's my airport? Okay, this is where one of the things that didn't help is I wasn't lined up, and the other reason my gear may not have come down was because I may have just been too fast. Jump in the cockpit. Let's see. So I'm at 200 knots now, and I do remember bleeding off speed before I turned the gear on, before I dropped the gear. Um, could just be a bug or even a failure, but it could just as easily be pilot error. So I'm at what, 220, 230, 220, 210, and sounds like I went into reverse thrust. Okay, I'm at 150, gear still up. Okay, I'm dropping my gear here, and it didn't come down. It's trying. So I heard that alarm, but I didn't know what it was. and I don't think X-plane model belly landings that well. But if I had known that I was going to have to do a belly landing, I would have tried to use. I got a 9,000-foot runway, almost 2 miles. I'd have tried to use it to bleed off some speed and hold my nose attitude up. Yeah, that'll leave a mark. But it was fun. So I think I think Melvin is streaming. So let's raid him. I think it's just me and you, Leroy. I mean, downwind, or maybe he hadn't started yet. Let's see. I have to get past the advertisement, but I think he might be. So let's do a raid. Yeah, Melvin. Downwind, I really appreciate you sticking with me and whoever else is on the stream. And until next time, remember a good pilot is always learning. Okay, so we are going to make this happen. And I think I did something wrong. Let's say, and one viewer, two viewers are ready to raid Melvin and right now. Okay, thanks, guys.